Every startup wants to achieve success, but only a few actually end up doing so. Why is that? According to Peter Thiel, it is because they often neglect one or more of these 7 questions that every great business must answer. He says, if you don't have good answers to these questions, then you will run into lots of bad luck, and your business will fail. But if you master all 7, you will master fortune and succeed. So in this video, we are going to analyze these 7 questions and why they are so important. The first question is the engineering question. Can you create breakthrough technologies instead of incremental improvements? If you want to build a great technology company, you should have proprietary technology that is at least 10 times better than its nearest substitute. Proprietary technology is the most substantive advantage a company can have because it makes your product difficult or impossible to replicate, and that alone can help you escape competition and develop a real monopolistic advantage. Google's search algorithms, for example, return much better results than any one of its competitors, and it overtook all its competitors in the early 2000s. Thiel believes that startups should not rely on small, incremental steps to move forward, and that it is actually better to risk boldness than triviality. Even in the engineering-driven Silicon Valley, people are popularizing the concept of building a lean startup that can adapt and evolve to an ever-changing environment. Entrepreneurs are told to build nothing more than a minimum viable product and iterate their way to success. But Thiel argued that leanness is not a goal, but rather a methodology. You could build the best version of an app that lets people order toilet paper from their phone, but iteration without a bold plan won't take you from 0 to 1. Making small changes to things that already exist might allow you to build a business, but it certainly won't help you change the world. The second question is the timing question. Is now the right time to start your particular business? It's easy to convince ourselves that our appointed hour has arrived, and many entrepreneurs have made the mistake of betting on an idea whose time hasn't come yet. Take the green tech revolution as an example. In the late 2000s, everyone thought that the next big thing was clean technology, and that everyone would ditch fossil fuels for a more environmentally friendly replacement. Entrepreneurs started thousands of clean tech companies, and billions of dollars were poured into funding them. A lot of them went into making solar panels. However, solar panel technology wasn't where it needed to be, and there were few engineering developments in the 2000s to make such a revolution feasible at that time. Instead of a healthier planet, we got a massive clean tech bubble. More than 40 solar panel manufacturers went out of business in 2012 alone. The third question is the monopoly question. Are you starting with a big share of a small market? Thiel thinks startups should aim to dominate a small niche market and scale up from there toward an ambitious long-term vision. Amazon shows how this could be done. Even though Jeff Bezos' founding vision was to dominate all of online retail, he started with a niche market. Bezos targeted books lovers, a small group of particular people concentrated together and served by few or no competitors. And he dominated this niche market. His successful monopoly provided him with the cash flow and infrastructure to expand to and dominate adjacent markets, like CDs and DVD sales. It is much easier to reach a few thousand people who really need your product than to try and compete for the attention of millions of scattered individuals. Instead of capturing 1% of a billion-dollar market, you should aim to dominate 80% of a million-dollar market. Whoever is first to dominate the most important segment of a market with viral potential will be the last mover in the whole market. The fourth question is the people question. Do you have the right team? Time is your most valuable asset. Don't spend it working with people who don't share vision in any long-term future together. While hiring the right talent is important, you should hire people who are excited about working with you. Elon Musk said, if you're at Tesla, you're choosing to be in the equivalent of the special forces. There's the army, and that's fine, but if you're working at Tesla, you are choosing to step up your game. Special forces are tight units. Their strong relationships don't just make them better at what they do, but also more successful as a team. A startup is a group of people on a mission. If your team is made of a tribe of like-minded people fiercely devoted to your company's mission, you are much more likely to achieve your goals. The fifth question is a distribution question. Do you have a way to not just create, but deliver your product? In Silicon Valley, engineers are biased toward building cool stuff rather than selling it. Customers won't come just because you built it. You have to make that happen, and it's harder than it looks. Let's say you've just made a really good app. How will you attract users to your app? Every company needs sales, not just startups. It's the fuel that keeps your business alive, and companies who don't have enough sales usually end up going out of business. Selling and distributing a product is at least as important as the product itself. A good sales strategy gets you noticed. It helps you cut through the noise and appeal to the right audience. It is a vital question to be addressed if you want to attract new users and gain traction. It's better to think of distribution as part of the design of your product. If you have invented something new but haven't invented a good way to sell it, you have a bad business, no matter how good the product. The sixth question is the durability question. Will your market position be defensible 10 to 20 years in the future? To answer this question, you have to ask yourself, what would your industry and the world look like 10 to 20 years from now, and how will your business fit in? Thiel identified two types of people in his book, those who expect the future to take a definite form, or those who treat it as hazily uncertain. If you treat the future as something definite, you can try to understand it in advance and work to shape it. But if you think the future is ruled by randomness and uncertainty, you will try to do a number of things to keep your options open and hope that one of them ends up working out for you. However, this kind of thinking doesn't work. Why would you expect your business to succeed without a plan to make it happen? The greatest thing Steve Jobs designed was not the Mac, the iPhone, nor the iPad, but his business. Jobs imagined and executed a definite multi-year plan to introduce new products and distribute them effectively. Forget minimum viable products. Ever since he started Apple in 1976, Jobs saw that you can change the world through careful planning, not by listening to focus groups or copying others' successes. Long-term planning is often undervalued by our indefinitely short-term world. When the first iPod was released in 2001, the industry analysts couldn't see it being more than a nice feature for Macintosh users that doesn't make any difference to the rest of the world. But Jobs planned the iPod to be the first of a new generation of portable post-PC devices, but most people couldn't see through the secret, and most of them were proven wrong. You can change the world by careful planning, and you can start by not accepting the unjust tyranny of chance. The last question is the secret question. Have you identified a unique opportunity that others don't see? Thiel calls it the contrarian truth, which is something you believe to be true that very few other people would agree with you. For example, Uber bet on the contrarian truth that people will be willing to get into strangers' cars. Airbnb bet that people will live in strangers' houses and vice versa. Spotify believed that people will ditch piracy and pay for music again. To find your contrarian truth, ask yourself, what valuable company is nobody building? It should reveal a secret about the world, something important and unknown. It's hard to do, but not impossible. Thiel thinks that finding a contrarian truth will help you escape competition and achieve monopoly. And there are many truths and secrets out there to be found, but they will only reveal themselves to relentless searchers. And the best entrepreneur knows that every great business is built around a secret that's hidden from the outside. Whatever your industry, any great business plan must address every one of these questions. According to Thiel, even getting 5 or 6 correct might work, but you must have an answer to all of them. And that's it. This is my first video, and thanks so much for watching this. If you have any feedback on how you think I can improve my content, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe.